So it's my pleasure again to welcome Bob. I think I might have been the welcomer on one other occasion. Um, and Bob's title for his reflection is Heart and Soul. That seems very fitting in so many ways for today. Um, Bob has sent his biography. Many of us know him. He's lived in Cumbria for nearly 50 years. It's a beautiful part of the UK and very much a contemplative way of being during his time there. Meditating since 1988. So all of that nourishment has really led to Bob offering a wisdom teaching. He leads retreats. He's a member of the local meditation group. He's been a very prominent member of the UK WCCM community, following the works of well-known mystics from many religious traditions, and so that we are able to hear the words that Bob is offering us in the books that he's written. So his publications, The Golden Thread, and other books and readings that you can find on the websites. So Bob, welcome, and I look forward to hearing what you have to share with us today. I hope he's here. He was here. He is here.
He's speaking, but we can't hear him.
Ah, and he's on off mute, obviously.
He's off mute.
Right, okay. Bob, can you hear us? I hope you can.
Yeah, he
Uh,
can hear us, I think. He's saying he can.
okay,
Bob,
okay, so
Bob, you need to go
what?
to your audio settings and test your microphone. If you go to your audio settings on the left, it says test speaker and microphone. If you're on a computer, it's at the left at the bottom. I don't know what it is on an iPad. I think he might have left and be trying to come back in again.
Okay. Well, this is genuinely is a chance to just sit still, sit together, sit and wait. And perhaps reflect on the title that Bob has chosen,
He's back.
Heart and Soul.
Bob, can you speak to us? I'm going to try one thing. Bob, I'm going to send you my mobile number on the chat. And if you call me, you might be able to speak through my phone.
Mm.
We'll give it a go. So I'm going to send it on the chat to you. It's coming through now. Can you see it on the chat?
When we first began Benedict's Well, I remember the nervousness that I used to feel, hoping and praying that the technology, I could understand it, that I could access it. And I think all of us experiencing Zoom for the first time.
Bob, can you just mute yourself before I answer the phone? Mute yourself on Zoom, because we'll get terrible feedback.
So I think we've overcome the nervousness of Zoom, and now we explore the potential of Zoom and the
Julia,
idea that Mark
Julia,
has
can
given.
you mute Bob, please, Julia? Can you mute him? Right, can you speak?
Yes, I can speak now.
Right, okay,
Wonderful.
Bob, you're going to have to deliver it this way, okay?
Wonderful.
I'll transfer my phone call to you now.
No, you need to
No,
you need to keep the phone call going. You need to speak. You're going to have to speak to them on my phone through Zoom.
Can you hear me clearly?
yes, we can hear you clearly, Bob. So stay on the phone and
can
be
hear you.
held by Mark.
Right. Okay.
Can I just check that? Are you okay for your data? Is that fine on your phone?
Yes, I think so.
Okay. All right then. Right. Okay. Off you go.
Right. So, so the title of the talk is Open Heart, Heart and Soul. So the reflection really is of the reading and the loving of God with all our heart, all our soul, and all our mind, but loving our neighbours also as ourselves. So when we look at our neighbour, what we are seeing is ourself, really, the I am of ourself. So just a few poems really to reflect on the heart and soul.
Bob, I think they're struggling to hear you. Unfortunately. Well,
Mark, don't worry. I think what we can do, I'll offer something for us all. So if
I'll try and get Bob's Zoom working, but you
okay, you two go and try and sort yourselves out, and perhaps I can offer something for all of us to share. So it would be maybe an opportunity here as we are together, heart and soul. Maybe it's an opportunity for us to reflect on what we offer as individuals to our community, to our meditation community, and perhaps an opportunity to share, not in the community sharing that we've done in the past, but to just think about what you might want to offer, a word, or perhaps what that reading that I just shared with you means to you. Love thy neighbour as thyself. And you might notice in that sharing, if you did receive the reading online, it was love your neighbour as, A-S, capital A-S, as yourself. And very much reflecting upon being able to love ourselves with all of our awesomeness and awfulness, with all of our joy and suffering that life brings. And perhaps just for a moment, and be aware that suddenly we might be given Bob Morley back, but a moment to say what this means for you. And I'll ask Julia and Mary perhaps to find if there's any hands come up. Just a word or a reflection on what that means to you. And you can raise your hand like this, or if you're technically capable, you can go into the act where you can find a little hand. And I'm not surprised that Magda and Fred would like to offer a word of wisdom. Yes, please.
Well, good morning to all the world around us. We have about 68 people with us. And I think it's a wonder, the technology we enjoy today, that we can see and love one another. And it's amazing how we have been advanced to be united and love, and we have nothing bad to say to one another except to appreciate that we see each other smiling, healthy, hopefully, and in peace when we meditate. That is the technique which we have. And they are combined around the world. And it's a wonder just to be with all of you and enjoy the present. So thank you for being. Love you all.
So since we are open, I might as well add the word that came to me as you were speaking is presence. And we appreciate each other's presence. And every time I meet somebody in person or even on Zoom, there is something that is increased in me. I am growing through that person. And so I'm loving myself as well as the other person. And very often we think of ourselves, not loving ourselves, but critical of ourselves. But I think the presence of another increases me as well. So thank you.
Wow, that was such a gift. Many of you know that Fred and Magda are with us at 4 in the morning, and that they have been with WCCM since it began with John Mayne. So what a gift that is to us. So thank you for that. Anybody else want to offer something to share? Chris Hurley. Lovely to see you, Chris.
And lovely to see all of you. What I have to offer isn't directly connected with the theme that you suggested, Janet, but it's a poem that I've come across recently, and I just read as we were sitting waiting to be entered into this space. And it's by an American poet called Marie Howe, and it's called Annunciation. Can you all hear me? Should I speak louder?
No, we can hear.
Annunciation. Even if I don't see it again, nor ever feel it, I know it is, and that if once it hailed me, it ever does. And so it is myself that I want to turn in that direction, not as toward a place, but it was a tilting within myself. As one turns a mirror to flash the light to where it isn't, I was blinded like that and swam in what shone at me, only able to endure it by being no one, and so specifically myself that I thought I'd die from being loved like that.
Sorry to interrupt, Janet. I think I've got back, but I'm not sure. Bob, can you speak?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yes,
can.
can I just, first of all, I'd like to thank Chris for that. That was beautiful. Thank you, Chris. And Bob, we
And I heard that too, and it was wonderful.
And Bob, sadly, because of time, we probably will only be able to hear maybe one or two of your poems, but obviously it's an opportunity for us to ask you back. So are you able to just offer maybe two of your reflections
Absolutely.
today?
Yes, of
Wonderful.
course.
And
Yes,
thank you, Mark,
yeah.
for your magic.
And thank you. Yes, thank you too. I don't know what's happened, but never mind. Another day. So, yes. So the theme was is really the heart and soul. So I'd like to share a couple of poems at least now. One about the heart and one about the soul. And we'll continue this, I'm sure, another day. So this poem is an attempt to describe the heart, the center of eternal love and creation. Of course, you can't describe the indescribable, but I'm making an analogy here of the poem with a cave of fathomless depth, whose open doors encourage beings to enter, having firstly been stripped of self, ego self, by a refining fire of love. So this poem is called Open Heart. Our center, our heart, of infinite depth, boundless, without form or image. A chasm of emptiness, yet filled with love. Eternally new, spacious and fresh. Home of the soul. Its invisible doors are always open to welcome all life that comes near. Although hidden by a cloud of unknowing, the entrance is as a refining fire through which only love may enter. The ashes of matter and mind are left behind in the world of time and space. What can we humans bring to gain acceptance? Nothing. What can we lose? Everything. How can we fill the cup which is full already? Be silent. Throw ourselves at the door of eternity, which knows only love. The witness glorifies in the becoming oneness, purified in the flame and swallowed whole. Deep in the cave of the heart, divine love meets the soul mirror, reflecting, transforming, and enabling creation, which is that of the world outside. The open heart, holding and being held in love.
The second poem is called The Soul Has Love. And this poem posits love as the supreme aspect of life, which cannot be destroyed and can neither be created, and is the very essence of our soul. It is the link between our true self as the eternal Spirit of God and our transitory human self. And the poem starts off with a quote from Marguerite Perret, a 13th century mystic, who has a dialogue, if you like, between reason and love. So just the first couple of lines are words from Marguerite Perret. Who are you, love? Says reason. I am God, says love. For love has no shame, honour or fear. Although secure in itself, its doors are always open. It is beyond harm. It needs nothing outside of itself. No thought, word, or work. As perfection, it has become the soul which inhabits every form of life. Mind and reason, however, are always half blind. They see or hear from outside themselves, or from the senses in their doing. As the created self, they have required separation, resulting in differences, identities, and images. But love draws all matter into itself, making one of all that has separated, becoming forever new and forever present. It is a free gift of divine grace, without the need for any intermediary, worship, or penance. Meditation on the soul as pure love has one intention: to love faithfully without reward. There is no need for fasting or prayer. Love has changed the soul into itself, lacking nothing forevermore. The soul, the link of love between the created self and the eternal Spirit. It has everything, yet has nothing. Knows everything, yet knows nothing. So maybe that is enough for now. Janet, is that enough or any more?
Well, I'm just always conscious of time because people come and go. So I think what I would like to say is thank you, Bob, and Mark. But also thank you to Fred, Magda and Chris. So what we received today was a bundle of gifts. So thank you, Bob, and we will ask you back. I know. And the two poems you chose, the first one for me really struck me with a real sense of reality of who we are as we are. And I'm talking about all of us really, not just myself, but that sense of oneness that we can experience when we love others and we love ourselves in the way that Chris's poem also described. So Bob, thank you. I have to say thank you to Bob and Mark, because that was very much a dual effort. And you're seeing in the chats that there are some beautiful reflections that are being shared. Mary puts those together and she'll share those with you, Bob. And perhaps because we had that little extra time to reflect on the reading that you chose, means that we come away with even greater depth of listening and being. People are asking for a copy of your two poems that you read out, Bob, and I think, Mark, do you send us those, or does Bob send them to? Anyway, there'll be some magic that happens.
I will send them to Mark.
Thank you. Thank you. And they'll find their way to us.
They will.
So thank you to all. Our prayers again for all of those who make this possible, make this place possible. And that's for all of us, of course. So let's just end with our closing prayer. May the divine assistance be always with us and with our absent brothers and sisters. Amen. So as we prepare for Advent, we've just been blessed. And over to Julia and Mary, whoever is going to move on.
It's me this week. Yes, thank you ever so much, Bob and Mark, for persisting and getting over the technical gremlins. And thank you to everybody else for staying and sharing and listening and being. Our presence together as community is just so, so precious. Turning our attention to next week, our speaker needs no introduction. It's Father Lawrence. Unfortunately, he can't be with us in person, so we will be listening to a recording of a lecture that he gave recently, which I'm sure will have an awful lot of insight and depth to it. So we look forward to seeing you all again next week at the Well. And in the meantime, I wish you a happy and blessed week ahead. And
Mary, can I don't know that I normally interrupt, perhaps I do. The talk that Lawrence is giving comes from a recent day that he led. It was Love in the Time of War, and it was for the Ukraine community, and some of you may have been present to that. It was incredibly special, and the talk that he'll give really resonates for all of us today. Very, very precious time that he gave just 2 weeks ago. And again, Mark's done his magic, I think, with you and Mary and Julia to allow us to see that and hear it. Sorry, Mary.
It's okay, Janet. I didn't have that information, so thank you. God bless everybody. See you next week.
Blessings to it.
Bye.